going.
Yeah, let's do it.
This episode is brought to you by our therapy partner, Dirty B, from fabulous Las Vegas, Nevada. This is Pod Therapy, real people, real problems, and real therapists. You can submit your questions anonymously at podtherapy.net or email us at podtherapyguys@gmail.com. And now, broadcasting from the churn, that was Dr. Jim.
I'm Whitney.
That's Whitney, and I'm Nick. It's time for some Pod Therapy.
How y'all doing?
That's Whitney. That's on. Yeah. How are you?
I'm good. I was out of town.
Oh, yeah?
But I came on back in town because I wanted to record this show and talk to all your fine theropods.
How do you like being on the show?
I like it. I like it a lot, except when Jim's on. So right now, I love this show.
Yeah, it is, because it is just the three of us.
It's so nice. It really is.
Yeah, it's not great.
Yeah.
Jacob, do you have any questions for Whitney? Well,
I mean, Whitney, who would you say is your favorite co-host here on Pod Therapy? Oh, I don't know. I couldn't possibly. Oh, come on. You can tell us. It's just Nick and I here. Well, I guess it might have to be.
Christ, is he gonna
It might be Nick Tangeman.
oh,
Nick Tangeman,
thank
by
you.
far the
Pissed for
best
5
golfer
seconds.
here on this show.
Ridiculous.
Thank you, Whitney.
Ridiculous.
Thank you.
Did Matt already leave? I missed him because I had to take a pee.
Yeah.
So Whitney's not here, which is
Jim's
why
back.
none of us are wearing pants.
Right?
And
Like
honestly,
the old days.
it feels good. It feels good to be back in action. We're
Yeah.
in the Hanes, just living our best lives.
A lot of airflow.
Just much more airy.
So we've started the show.
Oh shit, are we an official show?
Yes.
Yeah, this is the
Sorry.
main show now.
Oh shit. You got to give me a heads up on this stuff, buddy.
We just
'cause-
did.
We
You're the
did.
one who walked into the room
Did
yelling.
you already do the whole bit?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes,
Whole
we're,
bit's done.
we're doing a show now.
Welcome, everybody. Thank you for joining us in Pod Therapy. Hopefully you joined us in the patreon.com/therapy version.
I know I did.
Thank you, Butters, or slash.
That's Whitney.
That's Whitney.
It's kind of a South Park accent.
It's
man.
clearly Whitney.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
Whitney. you
Leave
don't-
me alone. Me and my accent.
Honestly, it's pretty solid.
I'm from Texas.
She kind of does sound like. That's what she says when she says she's from Texas.
Yeah.
It's identical. It's the same thing.
It's all fun and games till you realize I'm right.
Do you? No, honestly, I'm with you 100%. So if you didn't check it out, patreon.com/therapy, we have our good buddy Matt Donnelly from Penn Sunday School and Matt and Madely's Ice Cream Social and the Mind Noodler, Abracadababble, holy shit, podcaster, magician, just good dude. And he joins us late night to talk over life and talk over going to therapy himself and his own mental health journey and just talking life. So yeah, check it out. Patreon.com/therapy. It's a really good time between buddies. And you should pay for it so that you can hear it. So join us for that. But we are coming in late night. Did you already say Pod Therapy After Dark?
No, I didn't, but this is definitely after dark.
100% After Dark. When the blood
It's a late
alcohol
night for us.
content
We're like half an
is
hour later
over
than
50%.
usual.
Yeah, we're deep. We're deep.
This is,
into the night.
we're recording this show after having watched the Golden Knights whoop some ass
Oh, stomp 'em.
over the Florida Panthers.
Stomp
So,
'em.
yeah.
No.
Although I think this comes out after game 3.
Okay.
No, game 3 is on Thursday.
Really?
Oh, okay.
So this comes out the day of.
So game 3 is today. So we might
Yep.
get humbled today. Who knows?
Yep,
Yeah.
that's possible. I mean, we're going to lose one. It's
One
not
would
going to be a
think.
sweep.
One would
I
think.
don't think so. We'll see.
Yeah, it was a fun night. So we got to do a party at Jacob's house, which is my favorite venue, by the way. I mean, like of all the Las Vegas venues,
a good spot.
I consider Jacob's pad to be the swankiest of venues. So I took a panorama picture of your backyard with your wife's permission. She was right there. I asked her. I was very polite. I said, "Hey, can I take a picture?"
The way he like immediately said that, you would have thought that I had just risen up out of my chair
Yeah.
to like forcefully
To go
delete
punch
the
it.
No,
picture.
you are a very good host and you are very kind and just welcoming. But like I would be kind of annoyed if like people tried to take a picture of my backyard.
This is the most self-awareness you've ever achieved.
Thank you.
It really is.
I honestly
This
receive
is
that.
a huge thing.
It's a big deal.
Hey, look, I would be annoyed if
I
had to
would
deal
be
with
annoyed,
me.
but like Jacob's,
I would hate me.
So Jacob and his wife are very, very nice hosts. And I was
Very
like, oh my God,
gracious.
they have a vineyard in their backyard. No big deal. And a koi pond. No big deal. And I was like, hey, can I like take like a panoramic picture of this? And I swear to God, Jacob's wife, her answer was, please do. I need people to see this. And I was like, no, I get it. Like I 100% get this. It's a whole scene. I took a picture just to show to family because I want to show them this. I brag about knowing Jacob more than I've bragged about meeting any celebrity, anybody else I know in my life. I talk about
Or interacted
Jacob.
with your children.
Honestly, I tell my kids about your backyard. I tell them like, there's a koi pond, there's fish in the backyard, there's a vineyard, there's all this fun. You have such a big backyard for Las Vegas.
Oh yeah,
It's way big.
I have a huge house for a city house.
Honestly, yes. And which is one of the strange things about Las Vegas is like, so like
There are pockets.
yes, one street in a different direction,
Yeah.
and you suddenly have hit like a region that has
Well, walking distance from my house, there's a neighborhood of newer homes.
yes,
And they are the types of homes that you would expect. They are
Yeah.
like 1,600 to 2,000 square feet.
Yep.
There
Identical.
is,
They're all identical.
4 feet of space between each house at the most.
Yep.
And,
Wall to wall.
The
That's
house
Las
is-
Vegas.
The house
and the
is-
house takes up the vast majority of the
you're-
land plot.
And
that
you're
it's
on the side of the street that was built in a time when people got plots of land. And it was just
70s.
a very I mean, but like a very different Vegas at the time. And so when you go to your house, it's just such a strange thing because you look around and you're like, wow. Like for Vegas standards, you're like, dude, this is a lot of space. It's a really good time. So I did take a panoramic image of all this.
All that to say, Jim took a picture.
I took a picture.
Yep.
That's where I wanted to go.
Cool. Master
Patreon.com/therapy. You
Yep.
can't see the picture. But you can enjoy our buddy Matt, who we definitely appreciate. So good time, but it's definitely Pod Therapy After Dark. We're all like at least 3 beers in.
I was going to say this too about the house. An interesting topic that SJ and my wife and I were talking about the other day
Yeah.
is it's weird because we have developed something without being conscious of developing it.
What?
That is, we have public areas of our house
Oh.
and then private areas of our house.
Oh yeah.
So like we just open our, like when we have people over, what we like to do is just open our house up.
I usually go straight to your master bathroom and clip my nails with your clipper. So I don't really feel like anything's private at
There
this
you go.
point. You know?
Honestly, when people, because we do have friends that go into like the bathroom in our bedroom and things like that.
Do you?
We do. I have
That's-
a couple of very close friends that do that.
Okay,
That-
very close friends, fine, but I don't feel
Let me
like
get to
you
the
should.
end of my sentence.
Please continue.
And that is, I never have beef with it. If you were to do that,
Yeah.
I would think that the practice was odd.
Yeah,
It would stand
it'd be a
out
little
to
bit
me.
like, oh,
I would not be annoyed by it.
that's because you're a very kind person. You'd be
But
put off.
we
by
have
it.
unconsciously
Okay,
made public and private areas of our house.
I don't consider your master bedroom a public area.
No,
of your
it's not.
house. Okay,
No, the public area is very clear.
Though
I think
I
just the
did-
way that the house is set up. You like
It's
you've
set
got,
up
yeah.
you've
to like
got that
pass right
perfect-
through all of
Exactly.
the public
That
areas.
is
Yeah,
true.
to
Yeah.
go right outside.
You're very
and then right
clear.
back inside.
Did you
It's-
notice the doors to their master bedroom though? I noticed them today. Did you notice those?
No.
They're very nice. Yeah, they're like slider doors.
Nope, they're not.
What?
They're swing outdoors.
Oh, those are swing outs? They're very cool. Yeah, I like those a lot. Big old wood doors. Yeah. Those are
And they have big pieces of art mounted on them
I
as
like
well.
them. Yeah, they're super cool.
And if you're interested in that, check out Jim's spin-off podcast.
Yeah.
Jim talks about doors.
honestly,
Jim
I feel
talks
like
about Jacob's house.
a whole
probably
Twitch
important.
stream where I just walk through Jacob's house and talk about what I like about it all day.
Okay.
Like I feel like that's a
We do have
weekend.
one friend that we really like when she's over at our house during parties because she loves giving people tours of not,
your house?
not just our house, but houses in general.
Okay.
And but she loves giving people tours of our house.
Oh,
it's
yeah,
great.
Absolutely. No, it's a great time.
So I'm like, oh yeah, go talk to her. She'll take you around the place.
So thank you for permitting me to come to your home. It's always a win. I appreciate
In
it.
fairness, I didn't say you could come. You
You
showed
did
up.
not, but you didn't stop me when I pulled up, and you welcomed me in.
He's
so-
like Michael Michael Scott that just
Yeah.
finds out where the
That's
party
it.
Where the
is.
party is. Yeah, I usually just text Nick and I say, hey, buddy, where precisely are you right now?
I got to stop sharing my location.
He
That's
does.
probably the
Yeah,
problem.
which, has led me to many of a good time. So appreciate it.
And many accidental games of golf.
and many That's usually where he is somehow
More golf.
swatting at a ball. But anyway, friends, check it out. Patreon.com/therapy. Listen to our buddy Matt Donnelly talk about his truth. We always appreciate him choosing to be an honest chap, and it adds to the mental health conversation. We got some great questions for tonight, despite not having Whitney here to
I'm hoping we have a
keep us on
lot of
track.
questions that would really benefit from a female
Yeah,
perspective.
I feel like we're ready.
I tried to
I
pick
feel
them
like
that way.
we have several questions about menstrual cycles.
Good.
I'm ready for
Good.
it. So I think it's going to be a great one. Husband's work stress. Yeah, this feels like
Pretty
this.
good.
Yeah,
Pretty good
we're
start.
already ready for this. Hello, pod therapists. My husband and I have been together for over 10 years. For the last 6 years, he's worked at a job that he does not like. It's high stress, low wage, and management treats their employees badly. I've always wanted him to find new work and am able to support us if he quits. He is very risk averse and has always been daunted by the idea of job hunting. He got a promotion 6 months ago. He said he wanted the promotion, so I supported him in accepting it, while inside I was terrified about how he would react to the extra stress. He is now the only employee at his level and has had extra responsibilities, including new subordinates. My fears are coming true. He's reacting to the stress by being very short with me in the mornings, before work, and for at least 2 hours after work. He needs a lot of time to decompress, and I am now doing the vast majority of the household chores while walking on eggshells. I can honestly handle the chores, but not the attitude. I love him, but I'm starting to dread him coming home from work. Again, I've told him that he can quit his job. He says he doesn't want to turn down the money, but I think it's more than that, as he is too afraid of job hunting.
Golden handcuffs, baby.
That will happen. I've asked him to go to therapy, but he doesn't think that it will help him unless he can, quote, bring the therapist to the office to take on some of the workload. He also thinks the possibility that he might have to shop around for the therapist will waste his time. Do you have any advice to encourage him to go to therapy or move on to a new job? I'm at the breaking point. Should I tell him that I will leave if he doesn't make a change? I feel like saying that will make him even more stressed out, but I can continue to live, or I can't, thank you, continue to live this way. Thank you. Appreciate the show, Anonymous.
All right. So this is a great question. I actually have a lot of advice on this one. I was kind of in a similar situation at a job, but I was fired from said job, and I didn't even realize how much it was stressing me out until Laura pointed it out much later when I got my new job.
This wasn't us.
It was.
It was?
It was.
You were stressed?
Yeah.
Wow.
And a big part of it was because, we were working at a luxury rehab program.
Yes.
And so we had to cater to these clients. And so you're always on the clock.
Yes.
You can't go in.
Midnight we were getting calls.
4 a.m. You get a call. You got to go
take a
in.
vacation.
You got to do. Yeah, exactly. And so you could never check out. And then so lost that job. And I was grateful for that.
We lost that job.
We did.
I helped you lose that job.
You helped me lose that job.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Yes.
Yeah,
I never
thank
thanked you for
You
getting
know what?
me
You
fired.
didn't.
I
You never thank
did.
me.
Yeah, thank you.
It's about time.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're welcome, buddy.
But now, like, my current job, stress level, real low.
Yeah.
I never get a phone call after 5 p.m.
Oh, yeah. It's
like,
government jobs.
Never get anything on the weekend.
Monday through Friday.
There's no such thing as an emergency in my current job.
That's a big deal.
And that has made a huge difference. And I didn't really even realize how stressed I was until Laura pointed it out to me, how different I was.
Oh, yeah.
And so I do think that there's probably, to the writer, there's probably more here that you see that he doesn't see.
Yeah.
Right.
That's definitely part of it. Here's the thing. I don't think therapy is going to necessarily be the answer to this question. It seems like this really has to do with a lot of job stress. I do totally understand his perspective and his fear about not wanting to lose a job. I have never left, aside from the time that the agency I worked for just up and closed without notice,
Right.
and the time that we got let go, I have never quit a job without having another job lined up. As a matter of fact, I've never taken a break between jobs. When I moved to Las Vegas, I left my job on a Tuesday. I started my next job on a Thursday.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So, I mean, I just went right into the next job.
Yeah.
And a big part of that is just because of that fear of a lack of security in the job. So that's a big part of it. Like, so I totally understand that. That's probably a lot of what's kind of keeping him there, is just not necessarily the fear of just having to go into the job market, but just, just you always kind of have that second guessing of like, well, what if I give this job up and I go to another job and it's just as bad and I make less money?
Right.
That's it.
It's that fear of regret. And unfortunately,
or it can just be as simple as, I sure like having this money.
Mm-hmm.
I think having this money is worth my whatever stresses I'm going through.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, that's definitely possible. That's part of it. I think, I don't know. I think your best bet may be to just express to him, hey, look, this is how I'm feeling about all of this. I would not say that you're going to leave unless he makes a major change.
I don't like the ultimatum.
We all agree on ultimatums.
Yeah,
we don't like ultimatums.
And unless you're actually going to do it, but this is the problem.
Yep.
People will set an ultimatum.
Yes.
And then it doesn't happen.
Nope.
And then now what are you going to do? Are you actually going to leave? Because if you're not, what you've done is you've just taught him that you don't mean what you say.
Right.
An ultimatum, by its definition, almost doesn't work.
Yeah.
It almost never works. Because you are saying, you are making an ultimatum.
Yes.
If I just tell you, if I just let you know, hey, if this behavior doesn't change, I'm going to have to leave.
Right.
And that is simply the truth.
Yeah.
You're just imparting a truth to your partner. That is not an ultimatum.
Yeah.
That's just letting them know, like, if I can't do this past this point, if we go past this point, I will leave. I'm not threatening you. I'm not giving you an ultimatum. I'm just letting you know.
Yeah, because the difference is you're not trying to manipulate the person's behavior.
No,
right.
It is.
Exactly.
I'm just telling you where I am at.
Right. And then I might even sub out that word manipulate for influence or change. Because yes, as Jacob just stated, like there's a line beyond which I'm letting you know what the outcomes will be. That's different than like an ultimatum of like a, hey, if you, then I kind of situation.
An ultimatum is a statement that you're making in order to affect a change.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's it. So
me just letting you know my truth and where I'm at with something, I'm just letting you know, bub.
No, I don't love ultimatums. And so, Ryder, to your question where you say like, hey, how can I influence my partner to talk about this? You talk about how like your partner is likely to say something to the effect of like, A, I don't want to shop for a therapist, and B, when I find one, I'm just going to want them to come to work. I guess one thing I want to speak to on that is how common it is for me to speak to a man, especially, and have them explain to me what they're going through at work. That's actually very common. And like one of the things I really pride myself on as a therapist is getting a good understanding of what their life is like. I'm very naturally curious. And so when they tell me like, oh, I'm an engineer, or I'm a aviator, or I am a, hockey player, or whatever it is they do, I'm very interested in understanding like the nuances of what their work life is, because that helps me understand a lot of their mental health. So I share that with you, Ryder, because I believe that as your spouse is looking for a therapist and concerned that your spouse is only going to share about work life, that's actually extremely appropriate. And as a therapist, that's very common for me to sit down and work with. And I think that will be true in your area as well. And that will be a very interesting thing for your therapist if your husband ultimately finds one.
There's an interesting thing that I noticed the absence of in there, and it didn't sound like your husband is kind of bringing work home with him. It sounds like he's suffering, continuing to suffer for a few hours away from work and leading up to it and everything that you said. But it didn't sound like he's coming home and saying, "Oh my God, this happened at work today."
Oh.
So he's not carrying it in that way,
Right.
which is I think a positive thing. The fact that he does have at least that much separation in his work-life balance, that just means that you're not trying to establish a separation in that work-life balance. You're trying to adjust where it is.
Right.
Well, I mean, the writer does say that he's got a bit of an attitude. And
Sure.
I definitely
that
understand
the husband
that.
does.
Yeah.
And that happens, like, Jacob.
I thought it was
Jacob
a
too.
needless jab from the
Yeah,
writer
yeah,
to
yeah.
me, but you know,
I took it personally,
that's fine.
as I
That's
should.
fine.
Yeah.
BTW, this sound guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. No.
I mean, this is something that I can be bad about. This is if I'm having a rough time, if I'm stressed at work, I can be bad about this. And here was something that helped me a lot,
Okay.
and that was just becoming aware of it.
Yeah. Acknowledging it.
Once you're aware of it and acknowledge it, well, now I don't need somebody else to tell me I'm being an asshole.
Okay.
Because here's what you think. Here's how your mind works, writer. When, for me anyway, when I would come home from a stressful day at work, and I might get upset with my wife about something, or I might get upset, with something that I can't control at that moment or whatever. And that is everything that's happening, as it is happening in my head in those moments. Everything that is happening is right and justified.
Yeah.
So I'm angry about something. I can point at the thing that I'm angry about.
Right.
Here's the thing: I'm angry because this happened.
Right.
I was hoping, to use a stereotypical example, I was hoping that dinner would be ready when I got home at 6 p.m. and dinner wasn't ready until 7 p.m.
Right.
I can point at a thing and say I'm unhappy about this, and that justifies it to a degree in my head.
As long as I can point to it.
That's it. Because now I'm correct. I have righteous anger about something,
Right.
even if it's something silly.
Disproportionate.
Yeah. Now, as soon as it clicks in my head, oh no, I'm having a miserable time for 8, 9, 10 hours building this new show over here. And then I'm coming home and I'm continuing to be miserable for another hour or two after I get home. What the fuck am I doing?
Yeah.
Right.
Why am I letting this place continue to affect me once I get home? And once you or for me, once I realized that, it became much easier for me to shut it down.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just
connecting those
becoming
dots.
aware. That's it. I just became aware that it was happening. And then for me, again, it was much easier to say, oh, I had a long day today and I'm being pissy.
Right.
I need to get a grip on this.
But the way a lot of people become aware, going back to the writer's question, is by kind of taking inventory with this third party, and you find yourself repeating the same statements, rehearsing the same stories, and that's when you connect those dots and go, oh, okay, like this is a repeatable reality of my life. But
I just wanted to say that. I mean, and that is certainly a way to do it.
Yeah.
But I just wanted to say to the writer too, if your husband continues to be resistant about doing that, there are ways outside of it as well.
Absolutely. You don't always have to go to therapy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In fact, I'd recommend against it.
Very relatable. Yeah, as a general rule.
I'm just going to change tacks now.
Thanks, Jacob.
Yeah.
We're going to take a quick break.
We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to talk about more therapy stuff. You're listening to Pod Therapy.
Thanks, buddy. Appreciate
Today's episode is brought to you by Ben Don, Malia, Richard Macy, Sonny Boy, University Jeff, Samantha Cone, Thunder Cougar, Falcon Scoop, and Slurpee Kaye, motherfucker. And if you, too, would like to become a therapy producer, go to patreon.com/therapy and sign up, and you get to hear your name during breaks like this.
Yeah.
All right. Hockey trivia.
Oh, shit, yeah.
True.
Here we go.
We got this.
Which current team has the most franchise Stanley Cup wins? Detroit Red Wings, Toronto Maple Leafs, Montreal Canadiens, Chicago Blackhawks,
Damn it.
or the Boston Bruins.
Wow. None of the ones I wanted are on that list.
Oh.
I was going to say Penguins.
Oh. I was kind of thinking Toronto, and that's on the list, so I'll go with Toronto.
Just because it's Canadian?
Okay.
You think that's why?
I don't know. It popped into my head though.
I feel like the Canadians are like woefully inadequate.
Oh, they've been on a losing streak for a long time, but this is all time.
All time. I'm going to go Bruins.
All right.
Okay.
I believe my second option was going to be Red Wings.
Ooh, that's a solid choice.
Okay.
I just want to be on record with having a second
No,
choice.
it acknowledged.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like that was it.
Well, Jacob picked 2 and 3 on the list.
Oh,
All right.
So Toronto's
In that
got
order?
yeah, Toronto's got 13, Detroit's got 11.
Okay.
Boston has 6.
I think it's Chicago then.
The Montreal Canadiens with 24.
Wow.
Yeah, they were dominant.
Only respect.
I knew that.
They
I remember
were
that. There was a year or two ago, Vegas was playing Montreal in the playoffs, and they were talking about that. Now that you say that,
Yep.
that's
All-time
right.
winners.
Okay.
Wow.
Got one more.
Okay.
The Quebec Nordiques
Quebec.
Ooh.
left Quebec
Quebec.
Thank you.
Quebec.
in 1995
Croissant.
to become this team.
What?
The Nashville Predators,
No.
the San Jose Sharks,
What?
the Florida Panthers,
No, none of those.
or the Colorado Avalanche.
Fucking what?
Or the Toronto Blue Jays.
All of those
Toronto
are
Blue
very
Jays.
offensive.
Just decided to play
No.
baseball.
All right. What year was this?
95.
What?
1995.
And give me the options again.
Nashville Predators,
No.
San Jose Sharks, Florida Panthers,
No.
Colorado Avalanche.
None of those are acceptable.
I think it is. I'm going A.
What is that?
Nashville Predators.
Nashville Predators.
Honestly, of all of them, I think it's the Predators. I feel like the 90s were like a
Unfortunately, I've taken the Predators.
shit. Give me the
Nashville, San Jose Sharks, Florida Panthers, Colorado Avalanche.
God damn it. I'm going to take the Panthers,
I
but
like
like I
all
want to
those
go on
options.
record saying that like Jacob's probably right, but I'll take the Panthers just so I'm not a poser.
Now it's going to be the Panthers.
It's the Colorado Avalanche.
What?
Oh, that was my
Yes.
second guess.
Yes.
No, shut up. No, what fucking wasn't.
Yeah.
Don't
Because those are all fairly new
don't
teams.
goddamn reach for a rebound. You don't deserve
Rebound.
one. No.
Half a point.
Unacceptable.
Okay.
Half a point.
I've got 4 more questions left, but let's get back to the show.
Let's do those. My throat is killing me. Would you mind reading the next
I
question?
can read the next one.
Thank you, buddy.
Couples therapy. Hey, thank you for always making great pods. It's been very helpful to listen to advice for other people's personal questions and good to play on the background to sleep to.
I can live with that.
Oh, I'll take it. That's fine. Whatever.
Honestly, I'm fine with that.
Listen to the ads. It's
a
good.
play is a play.
Yeah.
Take the win. I was wondering what the benefits of couples therapy is and whether it would be helpful to try it with my boyfriend. I've been in a relationship with him for about 9 months, and we've had a smooth start, but things started getting rocky when he began to show his problems with his family. We would have dates planned, and but he would have to cancel them at the last minute due to his parents demanding him to run an errand for him. We have to walk on eggshells all the time when it comes to his dad, and he has been trying to keep the relationship a secret from him. He was always abused by his dad, even though he doesn't want to admit the punishment and control were abusive tactics, not tough parenting. I asked him if he could consider doing individual counseling because getting therapy has been so beneficial for me. Unfortunately, he doesn't seem very open to it. However, his family problems have created a rift in our relationship, and I'm even considering breaking up with him. It feels like I've tried everything that I can to improve our communication and our relationship, but it isn't my place to try to fix him and his life. Since I don't want to give up right away, I changed my mind from pushing him to do individual therapy and now interested in couples counseling. I was wondering if it would make a big difference at this stage in our relationship. Thank you much. Sincerely, Anonymous.
Wow. A lot of layers to that. Jeez. I mean, so one thing, Anonymous, that jumps out right away is kind of pushing your partner to do individual work based on things that you've witnessed in their lives, but instead kind of routing that to couples work. I'm good with that. I like bringing it to the now. And if right now you're noticing, hey, we're having couples issues and here's what I'm kind of sensing, or here's what I'm catching us going off the rails on, I like that. I'd rather you talk about that in a couples context. I don't like the idea of just banishing a partner to be like, hey, you're broken, go talk to a therapist. That gets weird really fast.
Yes, however, I was also thinking about that too. But the other part of it is it's a relatively new relationship. It's 9 months.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You know, and so at that point, it's almost kind of like you're kind of at that stage of like, okay, well, how much do I really like this person and how much shit am I willing to deal with for the possibility of this relationship?
How much more time?
Exactly. And so I think it's fair to be able to say like, hey, I really like you, but this is problematic for me. Is this going to get better, or do I need to go now?
Well,
and not say it again as like a threatening way, like what we talked about in the last one, but just kind of a reality check of like, hey, here's where I'm at with this.
Yes.
I don't know if I feel comfortable staying in this if this is going to continue.
Well, I like that phrase reality check because for a lot of us, it's not until we get into a relationship that we start to question our family dynamic.
Yeah.
Right? Because, like, for a lot of us, our family dynamic, we're just used to it. It is what it is. Then we start dating, and that other person is invited to the barbecue and invited to all the things we do. And that's when they pull back and go, hey, you and your dad have a weird thing, huh? And you're like, what? No, I don't. Like, it is what it is. It's
you
like,
guys, Lady and the Tramp, every single piece of spaghetti.
It's a little odd.
All father-sons do that.
I mean,
no, that's what we
they
do.
don't. That is a lot.
No, I just feel like it's unique.
I don't even have a particular problem with it, but it is a lot. I want you to acknowledge that it's a lot.
Either a close friendship or a dating relationship invades your intimacy on family levels to the point where somebody points out like, hey, your dynamic is different, right? And like that's when you get that like perspective. So I don't know. I just want to appreciate that from the writer's perspective, like, hey, this is probably not a healthy dynamic, and I appreciate that, and I'm trying to like inform my partner of that, which is tricky because I think nobody really wants a lot of notes on their family life because it's what's natural to them. But yeah, I mean,
It's also the hardest thing you can change.
It is. Yeah, you don't have a lot of control.
That's part of who you are.
It is. And, what can you really do? Which I appreciate the couple's dynamic of being like, hey, let's talk about this in therapy as a team. Let's talk about our relationship. Great. That's fine. But I think expecting that you're going to change your person and their family.
That gets real close to me, it gets real close to going into a couples therapy session thinking that you're going to discuss the family dynamics of your partner.
Yes.
Like so it's going to be you and the therapist teaming up to talk to your partner. I agree with that. I mean, I do think that if it opens the door for him to see a therapist, fine.
Right.
I think that's good. I do worry about what your role in that's going to be.
Right.
Because you're going to have to do a very good job of really not trying to team up with the therapist against him. Because ultimately what that's going to do is it's going to teach him that this is what therapy is, and you don't want to do therapy.
It's a critique.
Right.
Well, and this happens a lot to us as we get couples and we get one member of the couple comes in as like an armchair therapist. And they're like, oh, here's what I've noticed. Just so you know, their dad has a narcissistic personality disorder, and this is what I've noticed over here. And you're like, whoa, I don't need your help.
Yeah,
like,
I got this one.
I'm good. Like, thanks. I appreciate you. Like, I just really want to get to know your boyfriend. And I'm just really glad that he's willing to talk to me. And like, 100%, that's all I need right now. I don't need all these notes.
It'd be amazing, though, if every now and then you were just like, holy shit, I didn't even think about that.
Oh, my God.
Wait, really? No.
What an asshole.
Narsa, what?
What's a personality?
Okay.
Yeah.
But I do agree with you. I agree with you, Ryder. It's not your place to fix him necessarily. To me, I think it just comes down to kind of thinking about this and like, is he the one that you want to invest this time in? And if so, awesome. Be supportive. If couples is what gets him into therapy, go for it. Just be careful and be mindful of what your role is going to be as a supporter. But also be open to, if it's couples counseling, it's going to talk about the relationship, which means half of that's going to be your contribution. Yeah. So if you're going to go into couples counseling, just keep that in mind, that you can't go into that thinking it's all going to be about him. It's not. And then, on the other side of that, if you kind of get to the point where you're like, you know what, I'm not really sure if he's the right one for me. And if this is, it's a new relationship, I think it's fair to evaluate these new relationships and just, like, okay, well, I'm seeing some things here that I just don't want to have to deal with. Yeah. I think that's fair.
You have the right to
It's harsh, but I think that's, it's silly to think like, oh, well, I've been with this person for 9 months, so I've kind of already committed.
I'm invested.
Yeah.
No.
No, you're not. You're 9 months invested, and that's not
Right.
much in the grand
Well,
scheme
in
of things.
fairness, what Chris Rock has a whole bit where he says, like, for the first 3 months of a relationship, you're not dating the person, you're dating the representative.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's definitely true.
That's absolutely true. And so, like, for a period of time, you're really not getting to know them. You have to almost, like, invest past that point to really get to know them.
That's
And-
funny because we used to talk about that all the time in treatment, like in recovery, early
Yes.
recovery.
Oh, yeah.
You know, like there was a saying at one of the treatment centers I worked at where they would say, fire your representative.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Because
stop.
they're in early recovery and
Yeah.
they're trying to put their best face forward.
Yes.
It's like, hey, this representative of yours is not doing a very good job.
It's inauthentic.
Yeah.
Yeah. Be
Just-
you. Stop trying to pretend like you have your shit together. You don't. Yeah. No, absolutely. Ryder, this is a great question. Thank you so much for writing in. It's something that's so relatable. We appreciate you. We're going to take a quick break. And when we come back, we're going to talk about begging a spouse for the bare minimum plus trivia. Rawr. You're listening to Pod Therapy.
Today's episode is brought to you by Ben, Don, Malia, Richard, Macy, Sonny Boy, University Jeff, Samantha Cone, Thunder Cougar, Falcon, Scoop, and Slurpy Kaye, motherfucker. And if you would like to sponsor the show, become a therapy producer at patreon.com/therapy. All right, boys.
More hockey.
Yep, of course. In 2011, the Winnipeg Jets left Winnipeg to become this team.
Oh,
True.
shit.
The Atlanta Thrashers.
There's already wait. There is a Winnipeg Jets right now.
Yep.
I'll repeat the question.
It's
In
like the
2011.
Cleveland Browns.
In 2011, the Winnipeg Jets left Winnipeg to become this team.
But there's currently a Winnipeg
The
Jets.
Atlanta Thrashers,
Shut up.
the Hartford Whalers,
No, that's
the
not.
Minnesota North Stars,
That's also not a
the
thing.
Carolina
No,
Hurricanes.
okay, the Carolina. Okay, I'll pick Carolina Hurricanes because there's nothing else. Those are not teams.
Those are all real
Those
teams.
are all
Shut
teams.
the fuck up.
Yes.
Are you serious?
Yes.
I kind of think it was the Whalers. I'm going Whalers.
No, that's offensive.
Two Whalers?
In 2011, you can't be fucking killing whales. No,
I don't think they killed any whales.
buddy. Think about it. Like there's
I'm
0%
almost
chance.
positive they didn't kill any whales.
You're thinking of a 2011 community that surrounded a professional sports team, proud,
and you
To
are
call
thinking that I'm
themselves the
going to
Whalers.
defend my answer more than I'm going to.
buddy. There's 0% chances Whalers. I mean, it's probably the fucking Hurricanes, but
Nick-
all those are not real teams.
Nick, I've got all my hopes and dreams invested in the next thing you're going to say.
The Whalers? Are you going all in on Whalers?
I've already picked. I'm Whalers.
And your Hurricanes?
I'm Hurricanes.
You're both wrong again.
All right.
It was the Atlanta Thrashers.
Thrashers?
In this day and age,
That's a hockey team?
what?
That's so offensive.
Oh,
That
my
is offensive.
goodness.
So offensive.
God damn, it's 2023.
The Hartford Whalers became the Carolina Hurricanes.
I knew there was in there somewhere.
Yeah.
Wow, dude,
The
hockey's
Canes
dirty.
threw me off.
Yeah.
So they just changed
No, because like the
names?
Cleveland Browns left to become, I believe, the Baltimore Ravens,
Yes.
and then Cleveland just founded a
Yes.
new team and also called that new team the Cleveland
Yes.
Browns.
So I believe, if I'm correct, that everybody in that conference was once the Cleveland Browns. So the Baltimore Ravens, not the Pittsburgh Steelers.
No, not
Help
the
me out.
Cincinnati Bengals either.
Yes. No,
Okay,
they were
so-
all based
so
in
you're all-
Cleveland.
No.
You're all.
No, look it up. Look it up, man.
All right.
They were all based in Cleveland.
Look it up, Nick. Look
No,
it up.
Somebody
I'm
fucking look it up. So
not
look,
going to.
they were all in Cleveland.
Do you want the next question or
They
not?
Yes, I do.
migrated out.
What hockey speedster was nicknamed the Russian Rocket? Sergei Fedorov,
Ooh, that's it.
Pavel
I want that
Bure.
one. I want the first one.
Alexander Mogilny,
No, I want the first one.
Alexei Kovalev,
I want the first one.
Wayne Gretzkyoff.
I'll go D.
Alexei
Way to
Kovalev?
embed
Sure.
the deep state on that last one.
Yeah. And you want Fedorov?
I want the first guy.
Okay, you're both wrong again.
God damn it.
Keep it up.
Pavel Bure.
Man, my half a point from the first round is looking pretty good
Yeah, I
right
think-
now.
Am I down by half a point?
Yeah.
This is fucking dumb.
You're looking pretty good.
My self-claimed half point.
Whatever.
Pretty solid.
All right. Our next question is called begging spouse for the bare minimum.
You got this one?
No. Plus
Go for it.
trivia. I'm just reading the title. You go.
Oh. Hi, Thera friends. I'm looking for advice on what to do about a bare minimum spouse after years of fighting about it, and couples therapy haven't fixed the issue. This is extremely long. God damn it. So feel free to edit for time. My husband and I got married too young, 22 and 20 respectively, about 7 years ago after dating for about a year and a half and being friends prior to that. We attended a Christian college and generally existed in a world where you don't live or sleep with your partner before marriage, or I might have seen the writing on the wall.
Liberty University.
He joined the military shortly after getting married, and we have lived fairly isolated life ever since.
Yuck.
He just left active duty, and we moved back home in a town near his home entire family, but about 1,000 miles from mine.
Ew.
When we first moved out on our own, it took me a long time to find a job in a very niche career field. As a result, we'd agreed that it made more sense for me to do the lion's share of the housework until I found a job. Fast forward to now, I changed career fields and now work as a travel nurse while he is an unemployed college student, and not a damn thing has changed regarding division of labor or effort in the relationship. Currently, I work about 3 hours from home, 3 to 4 days a week, and somehow I'm still the one responsible for 100% of the cleaning, cooking, shopping, paying bills, errand running, car and home maintenance, so on and so forth, including packing, unpacking, organizing all of our recent move.
Yeah.
He barely does the bare minimum. He will do wash and dry his own laundry. If he needs socks and underwear, he will wash his own dishes. He feeds and walks the dogs while I'm gone. That's it. He only takes 9 credit hours, undergrad, at school and does not work. He was miserable in the military and spent his entire 6 years trying to figure out what to do with when his contract ended, and still hasn't made a decision. I'm fine with him not working while in school if he is working hard, doing well, and taking a full load. He was the sole provider when I went back to nursing school, and this only seems fair. Besides, I make very good money as a travel nurse. I'm doing nothing that I have an issue with. Not only is there an unfair division of labor, there's no effort on his end of the relationship. I've always done 100% of the planning for holidays, vacations, family gifts. If I don't buy my own birthday/Christmas gifts, plan dates for anniversaries, Valentine's Day, etc., nothing happens. I feel like I'm a pretty low maintenance person. Holidays and birthdays aren't about the gifts, but there's no thought or effort on his part. The icing on the cake, getting him to spend time with me, is like pulling teeth. I don't have tons of free time for recreation. I work night shift in between sleeping during the day, commuting 3 hours, and all the work to be done around the house. We maybe have 2 to 3 hours of overlap in our daily routines.
Yeah, that's tough.
He hates running errands and all, but refuses to do so with me. He spends all of his free time playing video games. I fucking hate the video games, and we've fought about this for the whole relationship. I quit counting how many dinners I've eaten cold while waiting for him to get off the computer, despite multiple warnings and countdown to food being ready. I don't enjoy video games and struggle to play them as they make me motion sick. So doing that together is not an option. We've fought about all of this. I've tried bringing it up when I'm calm and not in an active state of frustration in the hopes that of a productive conversation, things might improve for weeks, but minimally, and then progress quickly drops off. We've seen 2 couples counselors, a female therapist I've been seeing individually, who my husband refused to return to after she agreed that the situation is unfair to me, and a male therapist through BetterHelp, sponsor the show, damn it, who didn't really see the issue, and I quote, suggested I find a hobby or some friends so I wouldn't be so bothered by husband's lack of effort. Husband at least participated with that therapist, so we stuck with him for a while, but ultimately gave up. I've tried reading marriage books. He won't. We've tried the whole love languages thing, which I know you guys think is BS, but shocker, my love language is tied to acts of service and quality time.
Yeah, we like it. Spoiler alert.
As for our sex life, it sucks. I have no energy left at the end of the day. And honestly, there is nothing about this relationship that makes me feel desired, emotionally intimate, etc., precursors to all solid sexual connection. I get almost no non-sexual physical affection, which I have repeatedly emphasized over and over. Additionally, I found 4 miscarriages of babies that were very much wanted and loved. We've been trying to have a baby for 5 years, and I've been growing increasingly concerned about his ability to care for a child. We can't be bothered to play with her for more than a few minutes a day, wipe her copious eye boogers, or give her daily brushes her coat requires.
It's a dog.
Dog. Okay.
Yeah.
Did I miss that?
No, it was very difficult.
Okay.
It says, I get almost no non-sexual physical affection, which I've repeatedly emphasized over and over. Additionally, I've had 4 miscarriages of babies that were very much wanted and loved. We've been trying to have a baby for 5 years, but I'm growing increasingly concerned about his ability to care for a child. He can't be bothered to play with her, which I think's a dog.
It's got to be.
Yeah, for more than a few minutes a day.
So that piece was just missing there. Okay. All right, cool. We're there. Currently, we are in a not trying, not preventing phase. I don't want kids into this don't want to bring kids into this relationship, but I have had some serious chronic health issues and have drastically reduced the time I have to have kids. That clock is ticking and I'm running out of time. When we were newlyweds, I assumed some of this was just needing to grow up. I didn't come into this marriage as a perfect wife and had some growing up of my own to do. But he is nearly 30 years old, and I'm afraid this is the end of maturity. I certainly don't want sons learning this pattern of behavior, nor do I want daughters thinking this is a normal relationship. I make enough money to be totally fine on my own. However, I really don't have a support system outside his family, and I feel like I would be such an asshole to ask him to leave, knowing he has no job and no money. I also go back to school later this year for my doctorate, and I genuinely don't know how I will keep up with a full-time job, doctoral coursework, and 100% of the household management. I'm exhausted, and I don't know what else to do. He's tired of hearing all of this. I'm tired of constantly begging for the bare minimum. Where can I go from here? Almost Dr. Nurse Joey, she, her.
Oof.
That's a lot.
Man, there's a lot to that. I think it's really hard when you are dealing with a problem. You've gone to therapy, you've gone to couples therapy, you've gone to individual therapy. And despite identifying the problem and the deficits and all of the issues, you just can't get your partner to do it. And that's really tough because, like, you and I, we specialize in motivational interviewing. We specialize in getting people who are not interested in change to become interested in change. But no matter how good we are, sometimes you hit a question like this, where it's like, hey, I've tried, I'm out, that's all I've got. That's a tough one.
From a motivational interviewing perspective, part of motivational interviewing is getting the person to identify and recognize the gap between what they want and where they are.
Right.
And if they can see that discrepancy, then you can start pointing out in a therapeutic way how some behaviors are actually creating the problem.
Yes.
Or creating that that discrepancy, or maybe not working towards a solution to that discrepancy. Right. So part of that for me is I'm kind of wondering from his perspective, if I was his therapist, I would be asking him, so what is it that you want?
Right.
What does your ideal relationship look like? Because I'm willing to bet he's not going to say, oh, this is exactly what I want.
Everything's great.
No, as good as his life seems from his perspective, I don't have to do anything. I can play video games.
Oh, yeah.
I can take...
he probably ain't saying that shit out loud.
No.
He's talking to his buddies about that. They'd be like, honestly, I'm fine.
But even with all of those things that apparently look appealing to him...
Right.
He can't be happy with it. I don't think that's the case. I don't think he's saying, oh, this is absolutely wonderful. I think what he would say is you know what? I want all of the stuff that I have plus intimacy.
Right.
And then as a therapist, then I would jump in and say, okay, well, is that possible?
Right.
Or is your desire to have all of these things keeping you from intimacy?
Right.
And we would kind of explore that a little bit, because
Right.
ultimately at the end of the day, like, I understand where Joey is coming from, because it's kind of like, if you're taking care of somebody and you're becoming their parent, you no longer see that person as a sexual person.
It is hard to see that
Yeah, right.
affection and that eroticism
Yeah.
when you're kind of paternal for them.
Yeah.
You're caring for them. Like, no, it's not a sexy thing to be to a person.
No. Yeah. So, wow.
It's a hard one.
This is a tough one.
I mean, they're going to therapy, right? They've done couples therapy, they've done individual therapy. It's really hard because sometimes there is this reality of like allowing somebody the dignity of choice or risk, where it's like, hey, you've chosen not to participate in this. You've chosen not to make change. I've warned you. I've coached you. I've begged you. I've pleaded with you. I've tried. And you haven't done it.
I'm trying to think, like, if I was Joey, if I was in this situation, how would I approach it? And I don't want to, again, this kind of seems to be the theme for the night. I don't want to create an ultimatum.
Yeah.
But I also want to be real clear about where we're at.
Okay.
From my perspective. But
I've got it over here.
I think.
You got it?
All right. Hold on to that.
I mean,
Hold
it's all this. It's all like, I think we're all circling right around it.
All right.
It's clicked in my head. Go, Nick. You might have it
God.
too.
Here's what I would
Jacob's
do.
got it, buddy.
No, Nick might have it too.
Maybe. I would just have a talk with him and just say, hey, are you happy?
Okay.
And where do you think we're going?
What's the direction?
If there's no intervention,
what do you
and we
want?
stay on the current trajectory, what do you think is going to happen?
Yeah.
And allow him the opportunity to kind of give his take.
Yes.
And then you can say, okay, because here's what I kind of feel is going to happen.
Right.
This is the way I see it. I see it that we're going to continue to do this.
Yes.
I'm going to continue to take care of you. And I'm going to see you less and less as a sexual human being.
Yes.
And I'm probably I think we're just going to have to split.
Nick's got it.
And then
I knew Nick had it.
Oh, okay, good. All right, we're on the same page. Yeah. All right.
What do you
just
think,
got
life coach Jacob?
I mean, a lot of what Nick was just saying, I have one other wrinkle to add into it. We were talking earlier about, speaking just kind of truths versus speaking ultimatums, and how we don't like the ultimatums, but we do like the truth. And that is, I think, in conjunction with what Nick just said, I think you also want to tell him a bit of your truth, a bit of what is happening with you. And I think that's where Nick was kind of leading that as well. And I think a really good way to come up with that, you're already in therapy. I'd like you to, I think it'd be cool, talk to your therapist and kind of talk through what those lines are for you, so that you then have something that is clear and concise that you can communicate to your partner, and just let him know, like, this is not an ultimatum. I'm not threatening you with anything. But I am not going to be able to stay in this relationship without seeing some things change. And if that's, if you feel like you can't change, then I guess this is it. And if you'd like to keep on pursuing this relationship, I'm willing to do that too. But I do have to see some work on your end on this.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
I agree.
It's tough.
But I'd like you to talk to that therapist about what those lines are going to be for you.
Yeah, I think your therapist can help you language it.
Yeah,
Yes.
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yes.
And
Asking
then it's
what's
not going to
next.
come, because what you don't want is it to come across as you got to change or I'm out.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
You don't want it to come across as confrontational.
I don't like that.
You don't want it to be an ultimatum.
No.
You just want it to be, I'm speaking to you about myself.
Yes.
And I'm letting you know what's going on inside of my brain right now. This is just where I'm at.
It's a presentation,
And
not an ultimatum.
Please take this in the spirit that I'm presenting it.
Yes.
And that I mean it to be. It's not a condemnation of you.
No.
But it is a condemnation of how our lives are meshing right now.
Right. And it's tough, because I think whenever you're dealing with another human whose behavior absolutely affects you as a partner, it's tough whenever you are asking for ABC and they just refuse. They're just not going to do it. Or they say like, oh yeah, I totally see that. And then they just don't.
Yeah.
Nothing happens. And it's really hard, because you look at that and go, am I supposed to allow you to experience the natural consequences of your actions? Like, am I supposed to just like pull away end the relationship? Like, what do I do? But that's like mutually a problem, because like if I end the relationship, I hurt too. And like, that's not what I want. I want you to just love me, damn it.
Yeah.
And be kind. And sometimes you face a reality where they don't have it. And I think, Ryder, my last thought on this is that you have, in my experience, two options. I think option A, after you explain how you feel and see what they're willing to do and try to really give them an opportunity to do it, you can kind of continue to revisit this and over and over and over again. Honestly, ad nauseum, infinitum, you could be just constantly bringing this up and accept that that's going to be your reality, that you're going to just do this over and over and over again, hopefully get a little taste of what you're looking for, and then move on. Or option B, you reach a place, I think, and there's an option C too, but option B is like reaching a place where you just accept, hey, there's a lot about this relationship I like. There are some fundamental deficits that I will never have. I choose to accept those deficits. I choose to embrace what I like. And that's a conscious choice. And like, you can choose to do that too. And of course, C is what you're discussing here, which is letting go, and that's a big decision. It's so hard to do.
It is. And I think that's kind of, again, I like having that conversation and just, kind of getting his perspective. Like, hey, what do you think's happening?
Where do you want to go with this?
I genuinely am
plan?
Curious about this.
Yeah, you take the driver's
seat. What does
seat.
he think is going on? Like, is this really great?
Yeah.
It can't be. It can't be. I just don't see that. So,
yeah.
I don't know. I hope that helped, Joey. But that's
Joey, what is it?
Almost Dr. Nurse, Joey.
Feels right.
And we got some trivia here. I'm going to save those for next week.
Oh.
So thank you, Joey, for your trivia.
Oh, thank you.
We are coming up on the end of the show. And as we wrap up the show, we want to remind you that if you sign up at patreon.com/therapy, you can get the extended show ad-free a day early.
What a deal!
As well as enjoy our live chat Discord community.
What?
And our weekly deep dives. If you're at the $5 or more level, you get a bonus episode
What was
every
this
Monday.
week's deep dive, Nick?
I don't know.
You son of a bitch!
It was on trauma.
It was.
Trauma, part 1.
It was.
Yes.
Trauma, part 1.
Sorry, everyone. Nick had blocked that out.
I did.
It was a moderate dive.
Yeah.
Not quite a deep dive. We went through all of the disorders about trauma and stressors in the DSM-5. We defined what trauma is. And then we also talked about common symptoms that appear when somebody's expressing a trauma reaction. So,
and I can almost see the whiteboard.
Yes, thank you for that. It was it exists. Check it out.
We got some new TheraPals.
What?
So thank you, Judy Moody.
I like that name.
Chris.
That's a good name.
And Anup Patel.
Anup Patil, you racist son of a bitch.
And we've got some new Therapods as well. Welcome, Eli.
That feels right.
Freya Lawson.
That feels right.
Buddy Dobbins.
That's correct.
Mark Orlina.
Yeah, I'll allow
BJ Palazzo.
BJ.
Not
the first time.
BJ Palazzo.
And Jobeth R. Bowers.
Bowers. Joe Beth, a.k.a. the Judgmentalist. Thank you, Joe Beth, for sponsoring the show.
Thank you to our Thera partner, Dirty B. We would normally, first of the month, thank all of our Therapods and Theradactyls, but it's late. And so we're going to do that next week. We'll say all of the names twice next week. That's our promise to you.
That's not going to happen. 0%.
And we especially want to thank our bosses, the Saccharin 16, the mysterious and shrouded Illuminati members of the fan club, the Thera producers. Thank you, Jake Schneider, Robert Brownie Jr., Mint, Smitty Scoop, Ben Don, Judy Schneider, Kayla Lansbury, Dr. and Mr. Hot Dog Scoop, Malia, Leon Kassab, Cindy Ash, Mason Miller, Richard Macy, Carolyn Albert, Kevin Chamberlain, Tess Miller, Sammy Scoop, Ben Stanley, Slap in Your Face, Sarah Smith, Adam Hathaway, Byler T, University Jeff, Mike Helm, Myra, Paris, Samantha Cohn, Darren Cunningham, Lib, Team Monaco, Thunder Cougar, Falcon, Scoop, Matt and Lisa Tangeman, Hey Yo, Oscar Swanrose, A Sunny Boy, and Slurpikaye, motherfucker. And if you'd like to hear this episode uncut and unedited,
And why wouldn't you?
and enjoy our spontaneous side projects, go to patreon.com/therapy. And thank you for supporting mental health.
That's all the time we got for this week's session. I want to thank our landlords, Matt Mattingly's Ice Cream Social podcast. And thanks to those of you who contributed to our show today. We really appreciate it. Remember, Pod Therapy isn't something to keep all to yourself. Share us with others who need it. Tag us on the socials when you do. It's at PodTherapyGuys on Instagram and Twitter /PodTherapy on Facebook. Don't forget about all the extra goodies at patreon.com/therapy.
Good enough.
Yeah, you guys are nailing this reading thing today.
Crushing it at
Do you want to
2
submit a
a.m. in the
question for
morning.
the show? Ask anonymously at podtherapy.net or email us at podtherapyguys@gmail.com. Whitney, come back.
Come back, Whitney.
I'm Whitney.
I'm
Whitney,
Nick
come back.
Tangeman.
You can blame it all.
Thanks, and we'll see you for your
on
appointment
me.
next week.
Whitney,
I
come back.
love you all.
Whitney, come
From
back.
Texas, which is where I'm from.
Y'all.
All right. I got a couple left if you want them.
Okay.